Hey y'all, it's a little windy today, so I hope you can hear me okay. As most of you know, 2 weeks ago today, I was involved in a incident where a steer came out of nowhere off Highway 99 between Stroud and Cushing at 10:30 at night, and I hit that steer. Could not see it. It was a Black Angus, and I was driving a Chevy pickup that was a loaner from Patriot Dodge, and so their lights, Chevy's lights, are different than Dodge, and of course I'm accustomed to Dodge. But anyway, that's neither here nor there right now. The point is when after I hit that steer, I was on cruise control at 65, and as I hit that steer, my truck kept going. So I hit the steer and then plowed over it, and then bounced off of a bridge, and then went through about 150 feet of cedar trees until I hit a couple of oak trees, and that's what finally stopped the truck. The airbags went off then, and anyway, so in that, I broke my neck. The C6, which is right there at your neck, the C6 was crushed. C5 and C7 were damaged. And my spinal cord was millimeters away from being severed, which of course would have killed me or paralyzed me from the neck down. One of the two. God's goodness and God's grace, God's mercy are with me all of my days. Because see, I asked for this, and I'll tell you why. When I was first training, when I started my training for a recovery specialist, peer recovery specialist, I kept asking God, please show me where ground zero is. Show me where addiction starts for most people. Where it starts. Ground zero. Because I could not see it. I could not find it. You know, we could say that it starts with smoking marijuana as a teenager and la 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 la. We could say, well, the influence of others, trying to everybody party and then da 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 da. We could say that drugs of depression given to people and da 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 da. But that wasn't it, and I knew that wasn't it. I went to the hospital about 1 a.m. after the accident. I tried to wait until the next day, but the pain was too great. So Dad took me to the hospital at Stroud. After being there and them doing x-rays, they told me I was not to move any at all, that I was to stay in the position that I was with. They had a different neck brace then, and they sent me to St. John's Trauma Center up in Tulsa. And let me tell you something, the quality of care that I have received through this, I can't describe. It's more than I can describe. But once I was at St. John's, that Friday morning, a surgeon came in. His name's Dr. Oswitz. And phenomenal surgeon. Phenomenal guy. Good character. Family man. Anyway, he came to me and he said, you've crushed your number 6 in your neck. Your 5 and 7 are damaged. We do not do surgeries on the weekends, but Monday morning, you're scheduled for surgery. for me to replace that number 6 and repair the 5 and 7. That's what he told me. Now, I'm laid up. I'm powerless. I have no ability to do anything. People had to do things for me that no one has ever done for me. Wipe my bottom, except my mother and dad, when I was a baby. No one's ever had to take care of me like that. And they took such good care of me. Truly did. I was nurtured in that hospital before and after the surgery. Probably during the surgery, but I wasn't awake for that. But they knocked me smooth out. The last thing I remember is saying, "Kevin," because the guy that was giving me the anesthesia, the anesthesiologist, his name was Kevin, I believe, and that's the last thing I remember saying is, "Kevin." I was going to ask him a question, and I still don't remember what the question was, but I was probably going to ask him, "Are you sure this is going to knock me out?" That's probably what I was going to ask him. So anyway, so after the surgery, I spent another 5 days in the hospital. They thought maybe I would need to stay 2 weeks, but I was healing quickly. I was adapting to it quickly, the operation. I have 33 staples in the back of my neck and the back of my head, and I have 4 sutures right here. They cut my throat. Out of all of my life of, talking about throat cutting, and I get my throat cut. Another irony. So, once I got out of the hospital, Dad asked me to stay with him, and there's no sense in going to the woods and doing that when, Dad's more than happy to make sure, he can get me places, he can take me to the doctor, he can do whatever. So, having my dad has been such a beautiful asset in so many ways. He was an asset before this happened. But for him to be praying for me, and for him to be laying hands on me, and him to be encouraging me all the time has been a beautiful thing. So they sent me home and gave me 4 prescriptions. 2 of them were painkillers. 1 of them was a muscle relaxer, and the other one was to, my respiratory, to keep me breathing. And, in case the painkiller and the muscle relaxer together affected my respiratory system. So that was the 4 medications that they wrote a prescription for me for. Now, being clean and sober for 26 years, I have tools that most people don't. I have the ability to observe my behaviors, observe what I allow in and what comes out of me. That's something that most people don't have when they leave the hospital. So all this nurturing that I got at the hospital, and painkillers and muscle relaxers and all this, and attention and questioning me, how's your pain level, and bringing me food and just being nurturing to me at the hospital. And then to leave it, I don't have that nurturing anymore. I mean, Dad does the best he can, but we all know Dad's not a nurturer. He's a fantastic dad, but Mom was the nurturer, So anyway, that's ground zero, guys. Trauma starts it off. The spirit of trauma starts it off. An incident, an accident, a car wreck, a shooting, a beating, a fall and busting your head. All of these things are the beginning of it. Trauma. And then you go to the hospital where they nurture you and give you the drugs that you need and give you the information you need and all that. And you get all that for however long you're in there. And then you leave. and you still haven't dealt with the trauma. You still haven't dealt with the trauma. I still have dreams of hitting something in the middle of the road, and the effects. I still jerk in the middle of the night, and when I'm sleeping, because it wakes me up now. Fortunately for me, I know what it is, and I write about it. I talk to Dad about it. I call somebody else and talk to them about it. Communication is the only way to rid ourselves of it. Relying on others to listen to us and to walk through it with us, not to just dismiss it and say, oh, it's just part of it. Don't worry about it. You'll be okay. You'll be all right. No. That doesn't work. Ground zero starts with the trauma and then going to the hospital. And then the drugs. If you don't have people helping you afterwards when you leave that hospital. So it is my goal for us to put recovery specialists at every hospital's trauma to start communicating with people, especially those that, I've been shot at, I've been stabbed, I've been snake bit, I've had my throat cut, I've been in car accidents, I've been hung from a bridge. The amount of trauma. Had my sister die, my mom die, most of my family die. All those are trauma. They're trauma. They hurt. And when you don't know how to release that trauma, it doesn't matter if you go to war in Afghanistan or if you're at war here in your own mind. It's trauma. Relationships can be trauma, especially the ending of them. I don't know of too many people that end well in relationships. It's traumatic. Your kids leaving is trauma. So I had asked God repeatedly to show me where ground zero was. He is faithful. He is faithful. If you know somebody that's gone through trauma, gone to the hospital, been sent home with meds, check on them, talk to them. Traumas. They don't just go away. They don't. Ground zero. Good day.